Alright, I am back. This is episode 4 of Manufactoria 2022. Last time we had a couple puzzles that involved specific inputs. We just had to flip the first two inputs and put them at the back, which wasn't too bad. And we are on to the next section, the Yum division. Let's see. Food robots would be our first products aimed at big companies. If our robots had even a single bug, we'd be in big trouble. Jada was the perfect product tester. Working several other part-time jobs in different restaurants, she was ready and eager to critique our bots in action. Alright, well, I'll start with the anchovizer, I guess. Okay, so many times the unsuspecting pizza consumer is confronted with an undesired topping, placed there by error or by an inconsiderate pizza ordering parent. And your removal of each food particle is terribly inconvenient, so I thought, what if there was a better way? So let's see. So we have red and blue, and we need to get the ones that are... Oh, okay, so the input is alternating red and blues, and either one can start, and we just remove all the blues. That doesn't seem terribly tricky. Let's see. So, we will definitely need a filter. All the blues can just go back here, and all the reds need to get rewritten. How will I know I'm done, is the question. I guess if I see 2 reds in a row? Yeah, I think the only way to know that I'm done would be if I see 2 reds in a row. So, okay. So this is blue, that's fine. And let's flip that and feed it back in. Right, if it's blue, it comes back. If it's red, and then red, done. Everything alternates. Right, so, okay, so my thought is this is a second red, so what do I need to replace here? Let's start with red. And let's say I did red, blue, red, blue. Let's just use the test, actually. We have this. So, it's expecting 2 outputs of red. So I do a red and a blue. Oh, all the reds should have writers after them. I don't want to run the whole, I want to test. So do I just need 1 more writer? And then an exit. Does this work? But what was that one? Is that just a blank? Can I do this? Okay, that worked. The de-anchovizer worked perfectly. Unfortunately, Jada had to put in even more work than before to clean up the mess from all the discarded toppings, and then to reassure the customers that their order had not been picked apart by a highly advanced robot, not an army of rats. And yet she kept smiling throughout. Amazing. So, alright, so the idea is we know the inputs alternate. So if it starts with blue, it just comes back. So then we know the inputs alternate and start with red. We don't know what they end with though. But once we get through all the blues, which are here, then we just have a sequence of reds. And we replace the reds that have been lost. Yeah. So like this one, it replaces all the blues. And then here we have 3 reds. We replace one, we still have 3 reds. We replace it. And the only tricky thing is that if you start with blue first, is that it goes to the left to begin with. So, pretty good. And we've opened 2 more. Let's do the basic ones and then we'll do the challenges. I don't know if these are both basic, but they're both the start ones. After a widely publicized and very embarrassing health scandal, Satisfying Subs asked us to build them a robot to disassemble everything their sandwich artist has crafted and check for any incorrect ingredients. Expired sauces, stray rats, etc. We had to design a new deep cleaning protocol for this product. At this point, maybe you just get the robots to make the sandwiches, if they're disassembling and reassembling them. Let's see. So we want, the input is up to 11 things, except robots that enter with 1 or more red at the start, and then have exactly 1 group of 1 or more consecutive blues sandwich in between. Okay, so you can see these examples at the bottom. We've got a starting group with red, a starting group with red, and a single group of blue in the middle. But then this one doesn't work because it doesn't end with red. And I'm pretty sure you can have red. So red, blues, red, that works. But if you had something like this, where the group of blues in the middle is split up, that needs to get rejected. So essentially you need to see that it's a group of red, a group of blue, then a group of red. Okay, so as usual, start at the top, which I think is a habit from playing the original Manufactoria back in the day. I think everything starts at the top in that one. Alright, so group of red. And so this first one's a red. If it's blue, we're just gonna junk it. And then we need to go until this first group is done. I'll do another one. If it's red, we need... there's no writers on this. Okay, right. I don't need to replace them. So it'll just keep going. And again, if it runs out, it's done. And then we are checking for the group of blue. And similarly, we just get a tester there. And we'll bring all the blues back in. And if we end up there, we'll crush it because we just have we start with a red. This confirms we're done with the first group of red. This confirms we're done with the first group of blue. We need a second group of red. And this will be reds. So So this will be the last group with reds, and if it's done, we can accept it. And if it's not, we can trash it. So the idea is here. So we make sure it starts with a red. We go through the entire group of red. Then we start the group with blue, go through the whole group of blue, start with the entire group of red, and drop it. And if at any point we get the results we're not expecting, we just trash it, right? Yeah, because if we have too few groups, we trash it. And if we have too many groups, this one will trash it. Okay. Like it starts with blue, trash it. All red, trash it. All red, then all blue, trash it. All red, all blue, all red. Another group of blue, trash it. So I think that's all the cases. Oh, except for this one. Always forget the most basic case. Success! After we got the inspector whirring away, Jada suggested that customers might prefer their sandwiches reassembled. I argued that the same ingredients were present either way, so what difference did we make? After a lengthy discussion, we agreed to disagree. Yeah. The main character here is clearly like a parody of engineers, because sometimes you miss out on like the details of why actually people want things or what makes them good versus not. And people who are very good at the technical details sometimes miss out on some of those important nuances of why things are actually useful to people. Let's see. Traditionally, one of the most impressive parts of the pizza maker's art has been the making of the dough. Acrobatically tossed and spun to a perfect thickness, Jada demonstrated for me, and I became certain it would be much better to have a robot do that instead. Just think how cool it would look. Let's see, reverse the tape, then produce, and the input is 0 to 20. Alternating things. Okay. So it goes... So it's 0 to 20. So it could be... down here, like we've got anything blue, red, blue. Well, tell me if I make it impossible. Yes, it does. It tells me if the input's not something I need to do. Okay, so we could have these, and the tricky thing I think is it can start with blue and with blue. Go blue, red, red, blue, etc. Well, not etc. There's 4 possibilities. It either starts and ends with blue, goes blue then red, red then blue, or red, red. And the ones that start and end the same are their own reversals. So really we just need alternations. We just need to find the first and the last thing. Huh. Okay. How would you know the end? I want, I want to like loop through everything, figure out what the start and the end is, and then put out the opposite. But the question is like, how do I know that it's? How do I distinguish between, say, blue red and blue red blue red? I mean, they're both the same. You just put one at the back, but it's like... Okay. Well, let's think through what we need. We do blue. Oh, do I need some sort of counter or marker? The only things I have are red and blue. What happens? What if I wrote 2 blue to start? Right, that's the only thing I can think of is put something in that will never show up. So like, what if I did something like this with 2 blues at the start? And then made a filter. If it's red, go back, and I want to keep going until I see 2 blues, maybe? I need to write them back in. So I'm not sure if I was clear about this, but the thing is reversing is basically like shifting. Like here, like this blue, this goal, this start and this goal, you can see if you just shift everything over by 1 and then add the first thing on the back, it'll work. But for the odd length ones, it's exactly the same. You gotta kind of keep track of that. Okay, so let's say we go. So we get 2 blue. So we get another blue. We know that we're done. Okay. Let's just see where this goes. We've gone through the 2 blues. So at this point, I know I'm at the back. I think maybe this test will be easier if it... Let's just start with things that are red at the start and the end. That way I will know that those 2 blues aren't part of it. Okay, so that's tricky then, because this blue, don't really want to write it yet. I kind of want to move that blue until after I've read the red to know that it's actually part of it. Right, so this would read a blue and a red and then do a blue and a red. Alright, so at this point we've added 2 blues to the front, essentially. Reread both of those. What did that accomplish? I guess I could put 2 copies of these. One if the first thing is blue and the other if the first thing is red. And then at the end I would be like, okay, so I know the first thing's blue. How does this differ if the last one is red? Because if the last one's blue, I get 3 blues in a row. So then I have a blue at the start when I come through here. And if the last one is red, I get whatever was at the start before. Alright, so okay. So I think if I do that, and then can I copy it? And do that. And what is this? Ooh, I can mirror it. Okay. And I can swap color. Awesome! I did not know these features exist. Like in the original Manufactoria, that was such a pain. Okay. So let's do this. So we finish. We know the first one is blue or red. Right. And then we read through everything. Okay, and then we need an alternate. Like, then we need something that tells us what the last symbol is, given that we added 2 blues onto the end. So if there's a blue on the end, we'll have 3 blues on the end after we write in the first 2. So coming through here, the next symbol will be blue if there's a blue on the end, and it will be red otherwise. So if it's blue, okay, so we've got the 4 scenarios now. I just need to figure out what to do with each of them. Let's move this up. Okay, so this scenario starts with blue and ends with blue, right? So let's do a test here to make sure this is working how I think it works. So, okay, this starts and ends with blue. So, yeah, that starts with blue, so it goes to this side. And then it cycles through. And it should end up down here. Yeah, okay. And we started with 7, so okay. So we ended up eating this first one. I put red in front, and then we never added the blue that we initially consumed. I think in this case we need another blue. And we need to eat the red that's at the front. And then add a blue and a red, or a red and a blue, something like that. Let's see. We're back. Okay, so stepping forward. So we get through there, and you can see we're 2 things short. So it's ending in red right now because of what we already wrote. We need to add a blue. We know it needs to start and end with red, so we need to consume the red, and then we need to write the nice. I'm kind of tempted, just conceptually, to swap these, just to show that like we're not really filtering, we're just writing one and then adding what we need to onto the end. Alright, so I think that's similar here. Here, this is red. Okay, I think conceptually this is gonna be easier if, like, this is the red side, this is the blue side. So let's see. And then if I flip that and color swap it, I think that's good. And now we just need the ones that do alternates. Well, let's go back to our tests and make sure that this works how I expect it to. It does not. Okay. What went wrong here? Okay, so we have 2 blues. It starts with a red. Oh, yeah, because I still need to be checking for... Okay. Okay, so I think, yeah, I think I didn't want to swap the colors there. I think... let's do this... because in both cases the starting ones are 2 blues. I mean, maybe I could do that differently and do the writers after the branch, but I think this will work anyway. So, red... yeah, I think I need to swap all of these colors. I think I have to swap that. Swap that. Swap this raider. Swap that raider. And now, so we go until we get the blues. Okay. So we have the red cut off, so we have 2 blues, and then everything except the red cut off. Blues, and then okay, so we have the red cut off. But at this point, we should know what does this tell us? If it goes this way, it tells us that it ended with red. So maybe this way just needs to do a blue and a red. Let's see if that works. Okay, and if I add another blue and red, I presume it will continue to work. Just go around for another loop. Cool. So, I'm wondering... Okay, so let's... What happens with the red and blue one? What do I need to do? Is that it? What breaks? Because, like, I didn't really expect that to work. Okay. An empty one breaks. Wait. Okay, so we can just... Alright, red, blue. It's just red, so if I do... similarly blue over here. Oh, I need to move it here and have a blue raider. And I never did this one. Right, this I think I just need to add a red and blue on the end, like I do the blue and red here. This is blue and... Huh. Oops. No, I don't. Right. we get to the two blues. Blue, red. Okay, so I need to filter out a blue. And then do blue, red. Alright, filter out a blue. And I think this case needs to be handled from before. Oh boy. Okay, that was a tough one. Let's see if I can condense this and explain what I just did. Let's see. The prototypes splattered raw dough over every corner of the factory, but now that it was running, the potential seemed infinite. I was enraptured, thinking of what else we could spin. Woo! Ferris wheels. Or is that wall? Ferris wheels. Politicians' reputations. Ernest persuaded me to move on, but I still think there was a lot of potential left on the floor there. A lot of potential and a lot of dough. Okay. Hi everyone, this is Future Jed. I realized the first time I tried to explain how this machine worked after I solved this puzzle, it was very confusing. So I figured I would just do it again and be a little bit more clear. So the first thing to note is that some of this stuff doesn't actually do anything. These conveyor belts don't go anywhere, and this writer never gets used. So taking that out might make it a little bit clearer when explaining it. So to remind ourselves of what the goal is here is we have alternating inputs. So they will always go red, blue, or blue, red. And then we're trying to reverse the whole string. Well, what is the reverse of an alternating input? It's also an alternating input. The only thing is, whatever you originally started with, you must end with, and whatever you originally ended with, you must start with. And if you do that, and you keep the length the same, that will be the alternating string in reverse. So, to start with, let's look at the case where the string starts with red, and we won't know initially whether it has a blue or not, because it could end as a blue-red, or it could end as a red-blue. So, when we begin, we add two blues in a row, and the reason for that is an alternating sequence never has two of the same colors in a row, so this is going to be our indication that the sequence is over. We are checking the red case right now, so we delete one red. So this new sequence has a series of blue-red pairs, and then it's going to have some number of blues. It's either going to be 2 or 3, because we started with 0 or 1 blues at the end, and we added 2. We go through, this thing reads a blue and a red, and then writes a blue and a red. So each time it moves one of those pairs to the back of the sequence. And then, once that is finished, we have either 2 or 3 blues, followed by a blue-red pair, which means we really have either 3 or 4 blues, then followed by red-blue, if you just shift the way that you think from the division being right here between these two blues to right here after the set of blues. So now we have either 3 or 4 blues. So we're going to have at least 3 blues. So we delete those 3, and we will have 0 or 1 blue. Well, when will we have a blue? We will have a blue when we just had 4 blues, which will be when we had a blue at the end, and then the 3 blues when we had the blue sequence here and the 3 blues from before. So we'll only have this extra blue when we had an extra blue at the end to begin with. In other words, if we have an extra blue at the end, we now have a blue at the start, which is what we want. And now we just need to get everything to the same length it was before. So we deleted a red, and every other time we've read a red, we then wrote a red. So we are down one red. For blues, we've deleted 1, 2, 3 blues. However, we wrote 2 to start, so we are only down 1 blue. We know the sequence ends in a red currently because we wrote a bunch of blue-red pairs, so we just need to add the blue and the red at the end to get it back to the same length. Great, so that is the case where we started with red. Now, what if instead we had started with blue? So, similarly from before, we add 2 blues to begin, and now at the end, we don't know whether we initially ended with a blue or not, so we have either 2 or 3 blues at the end. We read the blue from the start, and then it's always going to be the case that the first thing we do here is read a red and move the red to the back. Which means we now have either 2 or 3 blues here and a red. And then some set of blue and red pairs at the start. In this case, we have 1 pair of blues and reds. So we continue like on the other side. We move the blue and red pairs to the end. So now we had a red and a blue and red pair, and we had 2 or 3 blues. We read 2 of those blues, so now we have either 0 or 1 blue. Well, we have a blue at the start now if we originally had a blue at the end. So we can use this red-blue reader to determine what the color was at the end initially. And if it is blue, as it was in this case to begin with, then we've now determined that we need to start with blue, and we know that we initially start with blue, so we need to end with blue. However, we just read a blue in this sequence, so we're currently starting with red. We need to delete a red in order to get back to starting with blue. And then we have written 2 extra blues, but we have read 1, 2, 3, 4 blues, and we have also read a single red that we have not done. So the 4 minus 2 with the blues means we have 2 additional blues we need to write and an additional red, and we have to alternate those. So that handles that case. Going back to this splitter, similarly, if we had a red at the start here, that would tell us that we did not initially end with a blue and instead ended with a red. I'll show you that case right here. So if we run through where we ended with a red at first, we get here, we read a red, and now we know that because the red was at the end, we want it to be at the start. However, we have the same issue we had over here, where we just read the red color that we want it to start with, and now we start with blue. So we have to get rid of the blue at the start, and now we just have to fix the numbers. So we had 1, 2 blue readers, and we've read 1, 2, 3, 4, and we also have a single. So again, 4 minus 2, we need to add 2 extra blues, and again we have a red here, so we need to add the red in the middle of those blues. So as you can see, this is kind of a complicated machine, and I also did not lay it out in the most clear manner because I wasn't thinking about it most clear way. However, hopefully that explanation made it a lot clearer than it initially was. And I initially did some minor cleanup of this, but really didn't make it that much more compact and didn't get me any achievements. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now. All right, thanks.